What's up, guys? I'm Zachy J, and today we're going to be talking about spirituality and when it counts, philosophy and when it counts. And before we get in there, we're going to introduce you to some special guests. We got some donkeys in the back. They just went into the barn. They're just going chilling out right now. We got some emus over here. We're going to show you these prehistoric emus. And then we'll drop in. I just wanted to make sure you know that we got some enlightened beings floating around. Actually, these guys are more like prehistoric beings, but let me see if I can see them. Let's see. All right, here we are. Look at that. Look at that pterodactyl raptor thingy dinosaur. Anyways, you got to watch out for them because if you don't watch out for them, they can go. They sneak up behind you and they make little prehistoric noises too. So I'm hanging out with the animals today, thinking about philosophy and spirituality and when it actually matters. And the truth is, it matters not when you are in the process of building it and in the process of enjoying life, but it matters when you're going through crisis, when you're going through hardship, and when you actually need to show up for yourself. Because it indicates how you actually do show up for yourself. Do you actually advocate for yourself? Because it's easy to advocate for yourself when things are running smoothly, when you're on top of the world. Do you show up for other people? It's easy to do that when you're on top of the world and everything's going your way and you can just dole out indulgences to all your friends and family and strangers. But when things get hard, when you're going through a dark night of the soul, do you still show up for yourself? And how exactly do you show up for yourself, right? Is it conditionally? Is it authentically? Because if it's not, then you're going to have to revisit your spiritual processing. You're going to have to revisit your philosophy. Because in your philosophy and in your spiritual guidance, your self-guided spirituality, you have to be able to show up for yourself and advocate for yourself and be present, especially when things are telling you to run away in fear. Because the fear-based mind will play tricks on you. It will make you turn away from your responsibilities because it's easier to hide. It'll make you run away from problems that are on the horizon because you can simply ignore them long enough and maybe they will go away. But unfortunately, as Jordan Peterson says, I don't really think, and also that I think too, that I really don't think you get away with anything in life. You don't get away with anything in life. But what you can do instead is be thoroughly honest as much as you can with where you are at. And maybe that just might lead you to the next level. And I honestly think that's like the only framework that kind of makes any sense. Because if you cannot stand on your truth and honesty in a given bad moment of, say, you have to have tough conversations and tough communications, if you can't stand on something that allows you to be fully expressed in these moments, and that really doesn't mean that you're probably going to be somewhat emotional during these conversations, right? A tough conversation. You're going to have things that need to be said, but you can only feel that information at the present time. You can only feel that type of emotion at the present time. And then here's where your higher self comes in. Here's where the better version of you comes in. You're supposed to take those feelings and process them into honesty and truth. And what will often happen, because this is the case, it's the case with me too. And I have to always remember to look into things. Because if you're a smart person, and a lot of people are smart, they tend to use honesty still in a manipulative way. And the problem with manipulation, and I know all conversations are some sort of rhetoric that we share with other people in order to potentially persuade or negotiate. But if you are engaging in emotional truth, but you're doing it in a way to still preserve your ego, you're going to actually be manipulating yourself. And that's the hard bit. That's the bit that people will miss, is they will lean into some sort of hard conversation, but still not be entirely there. They'll still be somewhat in preserving their ego and protecting their best self-interests. And I get it. Look, we don't want to lose things that we care about. We don't want to abandon our hopes of beautiful futures with friends and close partners. However, if you are successful, in a little gambit now, you passed your persuasion check, you're still going to have to deal with whatever happens later. And if you build on a foundation where you can be as authentic as possible with your higher self, and you know that you can stand on your business and translate the emotions that come up, as hard as they may be, you're going to be on the winning team. Because then you'll have nothing in your heart that's conflicting with your mind, with the ego. You'll be able to have a very clear mind stream. The mind stream will open up to you, and it will gift you new possibilities, because you will not have to use processing power to maintain the world that your ego was constructing. Instead, you give that processing power back to the mind of God, back to the universe, and you allow it to take care of the mundane, and then you can sit back and enjoy your moment, your beingness. And we all want to be in a place where we feel safe enough to enjoy our beingness. And there's probably parts of your life where you might not feel safe enough to actually engage with yourself in. There's plenty of relationships, for instance, and this is all stemming from conversations that I have about relationships, right? There's plenty of relationships that if you are a man or a woman, you might want to be what the other person wants for you to be. Because that means you get to spend more time with them. That means you get to be in their life and have quality time and affection. And that's beautiful until you wake up one day and you realize, I became someone that I'm not, and I have been maintaining that frame for such a long time that I'm exhausted, that I'm completely drained. And that's where you kind of have these things where you get these crises, right? These midlife crises where the authenticity is simmering for a while, and it's trying to get to the surface, and then it just starts to boil over. And as soon as it starts to boil over, you have this moment where people are getting the 7-year itch, men are buying sports cars, people are dating people way younger, rocking the cradle, right? All in hopes to go back to that point where they could have been their authentic versions of themselves. They could have been that version of themselves that was so real that it was acceptable, not only to them, but to the other people around them, right? Like, it's hard to be perfect. In this world, it's impossible to be perfect, but it's not impossible to be you. And if you are going to make mistakes, you're going to have to lean into those mistakes. However the universe decides to teach you those lessons. Sometimes the universe, in order to teach you the lessons, they will hold your feet to the fire. And you might be kicking and screaming, and you might be able to mind game your way out of it. But don't. Lean in and overcome. Because when you overcome things, again, your mind stream opens up and you are gifted the world back to you. The whole entire universe is gifted back to you. And if you let the ego build your world, you will have a kingdom, maybe even an empire, but you'll be lacking the life force that's inside of it. You'll be lacking prosperity of your soul. You'll be you'll be cutting your imagination out from the knees. So do not do that. Stand up for yourself, advocate for yourself. Learn how to translate your emotions into truth. Learn how to sit in those awkward, weird conversations and still be in the seat of your power. You can do it. We're all figuring it out as we go along. No one has the complete answer. So it's okay that you don't knock it out the park, but just know that the processes that you build for yourself now, they have to show up when it's hard. And when it gets hard, you have to show up for yourself. And if you do those two things, you're gonna win. You're gonna win tremendously. And these animals know it. The emus know it over there. They know what's good, right? And the donkeys over here know what's good too. And they ain't stressing. They ain't trying to be anything else. Look at the donkey. He ain't trying to be anything else. He know exactly how to have a good time. And you know, we can learn how to have a good time too. So I'm gonna pet him and I'm gonna give the outro. If you guys can, give me a like and subscribe. I deeply appreciate it. And you know, we're all building this consciousness thing together, right? We're all building it together, so let's make it a better place for us all, because we're all sharing it, okay? Talk to you later. See you soon. Bye.